So the peace model, the name says it all, I would say. It should be structured. So mentally, you prepare for it. You prepare for the interview and plan the questions. Then when you meet the client, you engage with the client and you explain the stages so the client knows more or less what it will look like. Then you ask when you ask the questions, you ask the client to give their own account, their own version of events. Then you summarize what the client said and you check. You check the collected information either by asking specific questions or by doing independent research. It's not that you don't trust your clients, because you do, but your clients are humans and they could have misunderstood something, or there might be a mistake in the documentation they haven't discovered, or there might be misinformed. It's non-confrontational. So the assumption is you are your client's friend in all the situations and you make the client comfortable and support them. The recommended style of questions, it's like referred to as hourglass style of asking questions. So let's imagine this is our initial interview with the client from the video. In stage 1, you would ask open questions. Yeah, you'd say, so what have you decided at the board meeting? Or what kind of transaction do you have in mind? Or can you tell me about this latest project? Yeah, that's on the table. At stage 2, you would narrow down the questions. You would ask more targeted questions for specific information to get the details. For example, what's the deadline for this transaction? Which documents can you send me by the end of this weekend or this week? And when do you need to have them reviewed for? What's the specific deadline? Then stage 3, an open question. Is there anything else you remember, or is there anything else you would like to tell me? And stage 4, you summarize and you clarify. So you say, let me now summarize what I understand that you want me to get done by Monday. And now let me check my work schedule to confirm that I can get the job done for you by this deadline. Believe me, this last sentence, none of my students practicing lawyers never said that to a client, but they should. But you need to communicate that you've got a busy schedule and you need to confirm that you can do this job for them. So the questions should always be easy to understand, short and polite. Silence in a client interview may seem unnatural, right? But to get some more information, you should ask a question and then pause, because it gives the client time to process the question and think about what they want to say. You should also break eye contact. When people concentrate hard, they remain silent and normally focus on a neutral space, such as the floor or the ceiling. And actually, you shouldn't interrupt this process, and you may get this extra piece of information. But generally, for a person to gather some thoughts, you need to break this eye contact. And you should also use an encouraging gesture and stop speaking. This will invite the other person to continue. So the silence potentially could open up, give space for a client to share something extra, an extra piece of information that maybe is not crucial for the deal, but it saves you time, money, and effort.